Today, we're talking about what are the best cards for beginners. Well, that's always subjective, but some of the best cards that I believe are going to be the Chase cards, and that's going to be in the Chase Trifecta. Why do we call it a trifecta? Because there's three cards. Basically, in every credit card combination, there are cards from each carrier that give you certain things, certain multipliers. Maybe card A has great multipliers for groceries, but you have to go to card B to get that great multiplier for gas. And you might need to go to card C to get the lounge access at the airport you want. That's why we run into duos and trifectas, because we're trying to offset the weaknesses of one card with the strengths of another card. By combining them, we can maximize our overall points that we earn so that we can turn that into cash for travel. Very simple. Generally, when starting out, we encourage people to start with the lower tier credit cards and work their ways up. Now, there can be multiple reasons for this strategy. One is that some credit card companies, if you start out with a higher card, you can't go back and get the welcome bonus for the lower card. So generally, when people don't have a great deal of knowledge with credit cards, it's best to start out with bite-sized pieces. And in this case, we want to start out with the Freedom cards from Chase. There's two in particular we're going to be talking about: the Chase Freedom Flex and the Chase Freedom Unlimited. So both these cards are cashback cards. And you say, well, wait, you've told us you have to have a points earner to be able to spend points. There's a big but, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But first, let's go through the basics of each card, what they're used for, and how they might work in your system and help you get started. We're going to start off with the Chase Freedom Flex. This card has no annual fee, and it comes with a welcome bonus that is generally $200 cash back after you spend $500 over the first 3 months. Now, the Freedom Flex card earns 3 times points on dining and on drugstore purchases. It also earns 5 times points on travel purchased through the Chase portal. Now, the Chase Freedom Flex gets its name because it gives you flexible categories. Every quarter, you're able to sign up for a category and get 5% back in that category of purchases. Now, one of the downsides of this is it's not automatically set up. You have to go in and elect to be in that category every quarter. That's kind of a downside. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it is kind of a pain.
Now we are here at the Freedom Flex page, and we're going to see what our bonus categories are. So this is their bonus category page. And if you look at this green button down here, if you click that, that takes you to the next screen where you would actually activate your bonus categories. And it tells us right here, earning 1% on every purchase every day and another 5% in quarterly rotating bonus categories. Remember, those are rotating categories, so you don't get it all year. Whatever is in Q1 comes in Q1, Q2 and Q2, and so on and so forth. Now, if we scroll down here a little bit, we're going to see what our categories actually are. The first one is get 5% back on grocery stores, excluding Walmart and Target. Warehouse clubs and other things like that, where there's a lot of other sections where you might get auto, electronics, sports, outdoors, home DIY. Those are not going to be included in this. But many of your grocery stores are, and if you shop there, you will get a total of 5% back on all groceries purchased at that time. Now, here's a new one that was a little bit interesting, and that is Norwegian Cruise Lines. I think that is going to be something that we're going to have to take a little bit deeper look at, and it's only Norwegian. It's not other cruise lines. Does that mean there is something in the offing between Chase and Norwegian? Are we going to see more with them? You know, a lot of the airlines and hotels, they already have their partners. They're already set up. I guess maybe cruise ships is the next great battleground. But as you see right here, you get 5% cash back on your Norwegian Cruise Lines. Now that we'll have to go look a little bit deeper into. I'm assuming that as long as you book it in the quarter and take it probably by the end of the year or within a year, it's probably what it's going to be, and that will be in the details. Now, Q3 is fitness club memberships, and you can see it down here that it's 5% on clubs and gym memberships. It also includes fitness centers, studios, gyms, aerobics, cardio fitness. So a lot of different things there where If you already are paying on that monthly, here's a way to get yourself an extra 5% back on those payments that you're already making. And for Q4, everybody wants to look good for the holidays. We're going to get 5% cash back on hair, nails, and spa services. Again, you have to check in here and just make sure if there's any caveats that don't get that extra 5%. My wife and daughter, when they go get their hair cut and colored, it's expensive. So this may be a good way to at least get a little something back on that. So that's our bonus categories for Chase Flex.
The Freedom Unlimited usually has a 200 cashback welcome bonus after you spend $500 in 3 months, just like the Freedom Flex. However, and it's about to end soon, they are running a $250 cashback promotion. Like the Freedom Flex, the Freedom Unlimited earns 3% on dining and at drugstores. It also earns 5% back on travel purchased through the Chase portal. And why we want to look at the unlimited card is it's what we call a catch-all card. It has a higher points earning on uncategorized expenses. Anything that is not falling in that travel, dining, or in that drugstore category earns 1.5%. At the beginning, I said there was a big but when we were talking about Freedom Cash Back. And that is if you pair your Freedom card or cards with a Sapphire Preferred or Sapphire Reserve card, then you can turn that cash back into points, transfer it to your Sapphire card, and then you can get more value by using that with transfer partners or with the bonus you get from having a Preferred or a Reserve card. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. So there's a lot of reasons why you really want to combine your Freedom cards with your Sapphire cards. Sapphire cards are the personal travel cards for Chase. And our first one is going to be the Preferred card. So the Sapphire Preferred has an annual fee of $95. Its standard bonus is 60,000 points that you get after spending $4,000 over the first 3 months. It sounds like a lot, but when you break it out between all of your utilities and groceries and gas and things that you spend, transportation, most people are going to be able to hit this without making it a stretch. So the Preferred card earns 5 times points on travel purchased through the Chase portal. It earns 3 times points on dining and on select streaming services, as well as 2 points on all travel purchases. So any purchase you make on travel outside the portal that is coded by the merchant as a travel purchase becomes a 2 times points earning event. And finally, the Chase Preferred card earns 1% back on every other purchase. Now, when you're using your Ultimate Rewards points through your Preferred card, through the Chase Sapphire portal, they're going to give you a 25% bonus. So every point now becomes 1.25 points. So you get a 25% bonus when you're purchasing airline fare, a hotel, or a rental car with your points through the Chase portal. So that's a nice perk. It's not the maximum points you can get if you use transfer partners wisely, but it sure as heck is better than just straight up 1% or less. In addition, the Preferred card also gives you a 10% bonus on your annual spend. So what that means is if you spent $25,000, you would get 2,500 points. There's better annual offers out there than that, but it's still better than nothing. The Preferred card can also help you pay down or offset part of that annual fee through a $50 annual hotel statement credit. Basically, if you go through the Chase portal and you buy a hotel room and it costs you $200, they will give you a statement credit back for $50. So you'll only pay $150. So that way, that kind of offsets that $95 annual fee and really makes it more about $40. Now, before we move along and talk about the Sapphire Reserve, we got to understand in the Chase ecosystem, you can have multiple Freedom cards, but you cannot have multiple Sapphire cards. You can have either the Sapphire Preferred or the Sapphire Reserve. So that's one of the reasons we say work your way up, because the Sapphire Reserve comes with a fairly hefty $550 annual fee. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but once you dive deep into these cards, and if you really understand that you're going to use the features and benefits of the card, you can offset a lot of that charge. So you have to understand, Is it going to bring value to you? And it may bring value to you for a year or two, and then you may decide to downgrade it or get rid of it. But it's something you need to think about. So the Sapphire Preferred card has the same 60,000 point welcome bonus that the Preferred card does. It also requires $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Always look for offers because sometimes you can get a really nice offer that gets you up to 75,000, maybe even more points for getting this card. On the Reserve card, you earn 5 times points on flights through Chase Portal, but you earn 10 times points on hotels and rental cars. Like the Preferred card, it also earns 3% on dining and on select streaming services. It does also give you a multiplier for those out of category travel purchases, but they bump it up from 2% on the Preferred card to 3% on the Reserve card. So again, this can be a pretty great way to earn some extra points. With the Reserve card, your Ultimate Reward points get a 50% bonus when purchasing travel through the Chase portal using your points. So instead of your points being worth 1 point, they're worth 1.5 points. So 1.5 points versus a point. This is a pretty good step up, and it's not a bad way to use your points, although it may not be the best way. Again, that's why we want you to look at transfer partners and alliances, but it can be a great way to get some extra value out of your points for certain things. So you have to be the judge of that. One of the reasons that people are willing to pay that high annual fee on the Sapphire Reserve card is because it comes with a $300 annual statement credit for travel purchases. Your first $300 of purchases, whether it's hotels, flights, rental cars, whatever is coded as a travel purchase by the merchant, you get a statement credit back automatically up until you reach $300. So your first $300 of travel you do not pay for. See, now we can take that $300 travel credit and subtract it from that $550 fee, and now we're down to $250 annual fee. So that's getting a lot more reasonable. In addition, one of the reasons that people want the Reserve card is it gives you access to over 1,300 airport lounges. You will get a statement credit back once every 4 years for the purchase of either TSA Pre, Nexus, or Global Entry. Understand that's not an annual thing, that's every 4 years, and it's only for one of them. Now it's time for a pro tip. First, we're going to talk about getting those welcome bonuses more than once. With Chase, if you have Freedom cards and you have had it for over 24 months, you can sign up and get another Freedom card. You may or may not need to downgrade one of your Freedom cards, but once you do, give it a month, you can reapply and get that bonus all over again. With Sapphire cards, the wait period is 48 months. Now, that may seem like a long time, but that means every 4 years, you can reapply for that card and get the welcome bonus again. Other credit card companies don't allow that. So that is a huge advantage of going with Chase. Now, something you need to be aware of is their 524 rule. And with Chase, if you have gotten 5 credit cards within the last 24 months, they will not give you a credit card. What you have to do is wait till one of those cards gets older than 24 months. And now that you only have 4 cards that are within that 24-month period, and Chase then will issue you another card. So just be aware of that 524 rule. It catches a lot of people. And it's not just Chase cards. If you get 3 Chase cards, an Amex, and a Capital One, well, you're at 524. So just keep 524 in mind. We'll cover it in more detail later. Pro tip number 2. Remember how I said Chase would only allow you to have one Sapphire card at a time? That is true. But there are some options to get around that. Chase gives you the ability to combine Chase points from different credit cards, not only amongst your own credit cards, but with one other person in your household. It could be your spouse, whoever you're living with, it's in that household that has Chase cards. You can sign up to share points. If you look right here on their website, members of the same household can combine their Chase Ultimate Rewards points. You can only combine your rewards points with one person, and they must share your address. You can also combine Chase Ultimate Rewards points between your own Chase credit cards. So this is a great way to use that two-player strategy to maximize your points. This is something we'll go into in more depth in a later video. Start small. Start from the lower tier credit cards would be my recommendation. You're grown up, you can do what you want. But that would be my recommendation. Start out with one of the Freedom cards, the Flex or the Unlimited. And once you can get it paid off and get your welcome bonus, get the next Freedom card. And now you can combine those and you can use one to cover the weaknesses in the other. And that way you maximize your point. And when you're ready, my recommendation again would be to get yourself the Sapphire Preferred card. Now, this is going to give you that option to take that cash back from your Freedom cards and transfer it into Ultimate Rewards points that you can use through transfer partners. Yes, you get a 25% bonus on your Preferred card, but if you can get 2, 3, maybe even 4 times points for your points through the Preferred card using your transfer partner and Alliance Airlines, and then you can really make your points go a long way. Remember, you can get multiple welcome bonuses. So keep that in mind. Make yourself a spreadsheet or something and keep up with that. And then you can always downgrade those cards within the product family. Give it a month or so, reapply, get that welcome bonus again. I think that is a fantastic way to keep customer loyalty from Chase. I think that's just a stellar idea. I love it. If you're interested in getting a Chase card or any other credit cards, I do have referral links down in the description. Just so you know, I'm not getting paid for that. I don't get anything from them. But if you do use it and get accepted, I will get the standard referral bonus from their website. So just to be open and transparent about that. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We would love it if you would like and subscribe. And that's the only way you're going to know when new videos come out. Don't forget, we have upcoming videos that are going to do deep dive into the Chase cards, the Freedom and the Sapphire, so you can squeeze the most benefit out of them that you possibly can. Until next time, stay safe, travel a lot, and God bless.